I'm not gonna try and sing.
No, you
but,
do it. No, you do
it.
it. I know. You do it. No, you do it. Okay.
Right, you do it.
No, you're gonna do that again. Hello, everybody.
Hello, I'm Jeff.
I'm Jason.
And we're here today, and we always talk about guitars and things like that, but today we're going to kind of talk about a little bit of a random stuff.
Yeah.
Last episode we kind of went into detail trying to modify my guitar.
Oh, yeah, we did the guitar.
Right, which
the guitar
is
mod
hanging
upgrades.
over there. And, I was playing it again last night, and it's just such a toneful animal now, right? But it went from being a shreddy guitar, because we went to like more of a Les Paul-y type pickup kind of sound, to now sounding like something I would track with like for Les Paul,
Gotcha.
but it's less shreddy now.
Okay.
Right?
Well.
Which is okay because I started doing the rippy thing, right? more
More
rippy,
rip, less shred.
Yeah, right. But for rhythms and stuff like that, it's so nice.
I gotcha.
And it's taking pedals really good. So far, I've been really, really thrilled with our activities on that.
Thumbs up.
Right. At some point in time, we do need to fix a couple of the strap buttons and some things like
Oh,
that.
yeah, we'll do that. Yeah. His guitar took a smack on the end and really knocked you. Actually, there's a dent into the wood.
Oh yeah, no, it's like impressed.
Yeah.
And then whoever had it before me moved it.
Yeah, so we're gonna do an episode where I'll fill that and then we'll drill it.
Actually, well, they did both of them.
Yeah, no, we gotta fill both of them.
Right, the other wasn't pressed in, but that's a whole other thing. Yeah. But today, what we're going to do is we're going to do a shot.
Oh, we're gonna do
or
a shot.
a little sip, not
Well,
a
wait,
shot.
but let's talk about that first, though.
Well, okay. So
we have to talk about this.
See,
Okay.
when you traditionally see alcohol in a jug like this, what do you think? Moonshine.
Yeah.
Yes, I've been making my own alcohol spirits downstairs. And what's fun about this is that this is essentially I call it rum.
Yeah,
because it's kind
rum.
of vodka rum kind of thing because it had potatoes in it and sugar and stuff like that. I call it rum, but then, I didn't want rum like a cheap rum.
Because rum's usually, for me, it's too sweet.
It's
and a little
spicy,
spicy sweet. It can be weird, annoying.
But a lot of people are drinking like really matured rums that have been put in barrels for 20 years or whatever.
That's why it tastes more like bourbon than rum.
Yeah, because it gets all the barrel thing.
Yeah.
So what I tried to do here is, and the reason it's so dark, because it was 2 weeks ago, is pure white, pure see-through.
That's so cool.
Is I tried to age it, right? And the way I aged it was to get a bunch of wood chips that were oak, white oak, like you would typically get in a barrel. And I started looking at like, if you get a full-size barrel, right, it takes, each year equals a year. Right. But if you get like a half-size barrel, right, it's like each year equals 6 months. And a smaller barrel because the surface to ratio.
Right.
So then I just ended up charring like several pounds of oak, and so I just increased the wood to
moisture
ratio.
Yeah, nice.
To such an extreme.
Oh, physics.
Yes, to awesome. Such an extreme, and then I did some other things to try and aerate it and trying to gel and liquefy it, and now it's pretty mature.
And how old is that? Like, how long did that sit with the charred pieces in it?
1 week.
Oh wow.
So
that looks like a 12-year-old Scotch.
Yeah,
and salute.
Tell them what it tastes like.
Yeah, let's taste this. We're gonna do a little sippy. We're not gonna shoot out this because it's kind of. Oh man, it's so smooth, and it's cinnamony, kind of spicy. Like it's like rummy. That's spicy, but not overbearing and not too sweet. It's not like making you go like whoa, getting you back here or anything.
Yeah,
like
and it's got a bit of a vanilla-y thing going on.
Yeah. There's like a vanilla citrus almost.
Like to me, this tastes more mature than Jack Daniel's.
You know what it kind of tastes like if you've had a Manhattan or more like an old fashioned. It has a little bit of old fashioned.
A
little bit of old fashioned thing because the little orangey kind of bitters flavor is happening in there.
Yeah. So what's odd is that I've been mostly making tequila. Right. Is been the thing I've been trying to perfect and get good at. And I've just been doing it for the last 2 months. So it's
but still it's pretty impressive. So.
But what's fun about this is that we're trying to age it.
Right.
But
who's got time?
Who's got time?
I ain't got time.
I ain't got time for age. No. No. Right. But the same thing happens for guitars.
It's true.
Right. And we as guitar
players.
Time
or you ain't got no time.
We ain't got no time to sit around and wait. So
50 years for your guitar to age.
So we all talk about like that old acoustic that sounds beautiful. That old electric
dried out
sounds.
Yeah, it's all woody sounding, dried out, and like earthy, and it feels like it resonates more than most things.
Yeah, and so just like I tried to get some age in this guy quickly, there are some techniques for trying to get age into guitars.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, let's talk about for acoustic guitars. One of the trends lately has been to basically kiln dry the wood. Now, so just for reference, we're in Los Angeles, California. Los Angeles averages about 40% humidity, which generally wood likes, right?
Yeah, it's a good dry, but not
No,
I
it's
need
not
water.
No, exactly.
I'm dying. I need water.
No, it's right.
But it's not too damp or humidity. So.
No, and it's not like I've known people in
balance.
other states, like music stores and stuff like that have to keep a humidifier
constantly,
or a dehumidifier.
Oh, yeah.
In Los Angeles, we can just kind of keep our guitars, and we don't ever really have to think about it.
Yeah, it's pretty consistent.
As long as you don't put your guitar in your trunk of your car.
Never put your guitar.
Because it's way too freaking hot.
If we here tell you anything and you don't listen to anything we say and you make fun of us, you laugh, that's wonderful. But one thing, you hear this is never put your guitar in your trunk in your car and leave it. Just
you know how many
don't.
times he's told me to do that, and I
don't.
Right, and
especially the trunk. There's nothing worse. The temperatures that the trunks get. Oh my God.
If he knew half that stuff, then I would get beaten.
Okay, anyway,
but in California, so we do about 40% humidity, right? And that's a good thing. When people build guitars, the wood can be very, very humid when they first get it.
And usually builders build in the low teens. Is usually where they get the wood at,
right?
Where it ends up being about the time you build.
Yeah, and so when we were younger, you'd hear of a guitar manufacturer like leaving wood out for 10 years.
Right.
20 years.
Well, Martin used to be, they're notorious. They have a huge wood supply that's been aged and sitting.
Oh yeah, I remember early 2000s. I went to Taylor, right, and they're one we're going to talk about in a second. But Taylor guitars. I would be out in the warehouse and it's like stacks and stacks of wood. And it's like you walk into it and it just feels humid. You're just dripping from the humidity from
it's
all
like
the wood.
Forest.
Just from all the wood letting out its juice, right? But aged guitars sound really great. And in the past 10, 15 years, people have figured out, Taylor was one of them, who figured out that one of the things that made an old Gibson or something like that sound so good from the 50s and stuff like that is that throughout the years the humidity goes up and down, and if you remember high school science,
the structure
the structure looks like little squares, right? And essentially it goes up and down with the moisture.
It's like little lattices of squares, and then they
kind of compress and right. Well, it turns out that after many years they kind of collapse to the point where they don't move anymore.
Right, they don't go back. Right, it loses.
Is my understanding.
Yeah. Well, because they that going back and forth is sort of the swelling, the elasticity of it. It loses its elasticity because dried woods also are a little harder.
Yeah. So they kind of lose their elasticity.
And which in turn was where it holds the water, the little sort of cells, if you will, I guess.
So what you're seeing now is acoustic guitar manufacturers and some electric guitar manufacturers are actually taking the humidity. I think it's down below 4% or 7%. I forget which it is, but they take them down really,
7's
really low.
So low. 4 is really low, but 7's really low.
Yeah, and what happens is that it collapses, and similar to age.
Gotcha, right.
And then it won't expand again. It becomes hard.
And that's called, what's that called? What do they call it?
Is that torreform?
Is that torreform? Is that what that is?
Torreform? Torrefying.
Torrefying, yeah.
Yes,
you said it earlier, right?
Yeah, I said it earlier before we started drinking.
Torrefying.
Yeah,
torrefying.
All right, I like terrifying.
It's scary wood. Don't go there. It's scary.
Terrifying tones.
It's terrifying. Torrefied. Yeah, because then there's also, I think it's Fender, and I know Gibson. Well, Gibson does fingerboards. I think Fender might do the whole. Or somebody does the next where they roast it.
Yes.
Too.
So Gibson has lately
roasted maple fingerboards.
Because even getting obviously in the 60s they stopped allowing Brazilian rosewoods. Right, and then rosewood, from other countries is becoming Indian rosewood. Has become even more difficult to get because of legalities and stuff like that. So, what some manufacturers have started doing recently is actually doing maple, but they roast the maple,
roast it.
Right.
And again, and it gives it, because I think by doing that, drying out so much, it gives it a little bit of more of a open sound, more like rosewood.
Yeah.
Not so dense as a maple. So, I guess by collapsing those cells like that, I guess it would lose moisture to open it up. Yeah, I haven't studied enough about that though, but I know it looks amazing. It looks great. It sounds great. I haven't noticed a difference in tone.
I have played it a couple times.
Yeah, I played it. I haven't noticed tone difference.
Right. Well, I've picked up Les Pauls that have the maple roasted and didn't realize it at first.
That's what I'm saying.
Right?
You're not hearing extreme tone difference. It's not like, oh my god, it's like it's like dense like a custom with the ebony or something.
No.
That out of it.
Well, and like how like
and they don't also paint it. They're not lacquering them. These maple boards are a lot of times lacquered.
Right.
So they are leaving them open, so you get more of that.
Yeah.
That less dense kind of essence.
Yeah, it's like you pick up a Les Paul custom and that ebony, it just feels hard under your fingertips.
Yeah.
These don't feel nice, right?
Yeah.
So and
if you play
ostensibly,
if you play 50s mahogany, not only that, you also have an all mahogany. 50s customs all mahogany body.
That's right. They were mahogany top.
Necks. Yeah, everything was mahogany on it, so it's totally different. It's totally weird feeling and sounding with that dense board on top of it.
Oh, yeah, it was
the Freds were ebony, but everything else being mahogany, so you don't even have the brightness, or it's all like dense. It's not even bright like with the maple cap.
Yeah.
Because even though it's dense, you had brightness, but you lose that with mahogany. They sound really interesting. 50s Les Pauls are
but it's getting some of its brightness back
from the hard fretboard, so it's an interesting tone. Yeah, I know. I just said that because we were talking about how customs are. I just segued.
We need to do a little listening test.
Yeah, I know. Because you play like a 70s custom, those are really dense. Because it's maple and that, so you get double hard, but they have a lot more brightness to them though, a higher mid-range frequency because of the maple top added to it versus the 50s ones.
Right.
50s ones are just darker.
Right.
Anyway, segue. Sorry, back to fingerboards though.
We segue a lot.
Yeah.
Right. So
squirrel.
Okay. So you have a combination of some people are aging things by, and we're not when we say aging, we're not talking about relicking.
Oh yeah, no, not relicking. No, we're talking about
VOSing.
Yeah, that's a whole.
We could segue into that if we keep talking.
It's kind of interesting,
right? But let's keep talking about.
I have a lot of things to say about that.
Well, then we should talk.
We might have to talk about that.
Right? Or that's the next episode, one or the other.
Yeah.
Right. But so the other thing that people have been doing for aging, is have you seen the little speaker things that you put on your acoustic?
Oh yeah.
Clip on your strings to make them
vibration thing. Yeah.
Right. The theory in that is that the motion, one is constantly putting frequency-based vibrations into your guitar.
Right.
So, basically shaping the way it resonates.
Right. Yeah. It basically follows whatever resonance frequency it is, and then just locks onto that, and they'll constantly shape that as you do it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I don't have much experience with that.
Neither do I. I mean, I know.
Do you have a friend who totally swears by it? He's like literally like after 24 hours of just leaving that on there, he's like, my guitar totally sounded different.
Well, I'm not gonna say no, but I'd have to hear it.
I have my own dog ear. Like, really? Right?
Yeah. Like one's up and one's like,
I believe it and I don't want to believe it. Right?
Yeah.
It's like.
Well, it's like that whole thing too. Like putting your they can take a guitar and put it against a guitar amp that has a brand new speaker in it to let.
Well, that's a different thing. Yeah.
No, but the point of breaking it in, like you're trying to vintage age a guitar by doing that. You're kind of aging the speaker.
I thought you meant aging the speaker because that is a thing.
Well, no, I know, but I mean that's another. That's proven to work though, right? Or no? Is that a joke?
Well, I think it's the same. That's
function. What I'm saying. It's the same kind of thing.
It's like either this device you put on your guitar that's resonating, or you put your guitar in front of the speaker and let it resonate.
But doesn't that age the speaker too, though, or does that not?
Oh, it does.
It does. See, that's what I'm saying. People get new speakers.
Okay. But I don't
want to segue too into that. But I was saying I was just using that as a.
Okay, I'm gonna take a minor segue.
Okay, go for it.
Right. Just a little off ramp back, like kind of like.
Actually, this might actually make me because I thought it was folklore, so this might be legit then.
Oh, okay. So when you buy a new speaker, right, they are a little bit hashy and bright when you first get them. And first off, people don't realize how much you have silence in between when you're playing.
Right.
So basically, though, if you take and put your guitar in front of it for 15 minutes, you will bring it down the wear and tear 50%.
Really?
Right. You will take the edge off that shit right away.
Oh.
Right. 15
so
minutes.
So it is legit. Because I always thought it was kind of wivesy tales. Like, I didn't know that was legit.
Right. And then about the rest, the next 50% to get to a normal worn-in speaker, it takes about another 10 hours.
Interesting.
Right.
We learn something new every day, because I did not know that. I thought it was kind of wivesy tale.
No.
That's legit.
I've seen math.
Oh, okay. Well, then now I'm curious about this other thing for the wood, then, too. We have to research that one.
Well, we have to do something, right?
Yeah.
So
we have to do a test.
Well, we've been talking about doing something cabinet-related, so maybe we'll get some speakers, and we'll do a whole, take a cabinet and age it, wear it out, put the washers on it, do all the things I do, and we could,
And then we should do it on a guitar wood.
Yeah, we should.
I wonder if there's a way to measure it. I wonder if we can do it without having to make a guitar. I wonder if we can just do it on a piece of wood and measure the wood frequencies.
We can.
It changes. We probably could, couldn't we?
I have methods.
He has methods.
Right.
I know a guy.
Right.
For the right amount of money, you will do whatever you need.
You've chosen a man with a specific set of skills.
A little sippy sip.
Right. So.
That's so good. It's like a. It's like savory sweet almost. It's got like that, like almost like a good mole that's like, you know what I mean? Like that does have a little bit of sweetness in it, kind of, but not, you know.
Yeah. I'm wondering how to do after like 2 weeks, you know. Right.
That's so good.
Yeah, the ratio of wood that I have related to it's like
a lot of wood. It's a lot, man.
I mean, literally, I've got like 3 gallons of this stuff, and I've got like this much wood chips sunk in it,
awesome.
right? Because you can't get a barrel with that much surface area. So I was right.
Oh my God! I just had an idea.
What?
What happens if you took those chips? Okay.
Do you build a guitar?
Oh, well. Hold that thought. That's a whole other one.
Wait, I'm in.
No, take them, and then take those chips and soak it in wine. Then do it, because then it'll be like bourbon when you soak the booze in wine barrels to absorb some of that.
Here's the thing that was going to happen.
Same. If you guys at all drink bourbon, or anybody else that drinks bourbon.
So to segue on top of our segue.
Yes.
So my plan is that once it gets old enough and aged enough, I'm going to take all the alcohol out of it. All the liquid,
right,
and then I'm gonna squeeze and get as much liquid, right? But then I'm going to re-roast those with the alcohol flavor in it.
Gotcha. Oh yeah, just keep reusing them,
right? And then I'm going to use that to make a reposado anejo style tequila, because the trend in mezcals and tequilas for the aged stuff is to do them in bourbon barrels.
Right.
So now that I've got all the bourbon flavor in there,
but the funny thing is, bourbon barrels are old wine barrels.
I know.
This is pretty awesome, though.
Yeah.
Oh, see?
Right. But what you just suggested to me, right, and this should be the trick, right, we should take and make a telly body, because I've been wanting a telly.
Sure.
I wanted pine, but let's segue to this idea and make it out of white oak.
Okay. Right. Do that. I mean, that telly I had. Remember that telly I had?
Yeah.
Had a Kiln on it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was oak.
Okay, so we'll make it out of white oak, which is what you would make bottles of, right? And those big 5-gallon drums I put in, right? We'll cut the body, then we'll just soak it in there.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I got you.
Right, and we'll make a bourbon telly. Right, and we'll use it to age the alcohol.
Sure.
And then we'll dry roast it, and use it again.
Yeah.
And then we'll have an age from moisture from aging.
Right.
Because we've all heard what was the guitar company years ago who found all that wood that was sunk underwater?
Gibson did the whole thing from Katrina. They had a whole Katrina line too, where they pulled wood from Katrina. I think.
Yeah, it was like all this wood.
Wasn't it Gibson? Wasn't that? Yeah, it was all the driftwood.
Yeah,
it's all the dried swamp wood. Yeah. Because that wood, when you soak wood, and then it dries out on its own like that. Oh man, that's great wood.
Yeah. So let's do this. We'll soak it, and then we'll have an aged thing.
Well, there is a guy, Big D Guitars, does whiskey and bourbon barrel lids as guitar tops.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Those are really
so
cool.
It's like so-and-so whiskey company or bourbon company along that top. That's really cool. His stuff's awesome. He does really good work.
Oh man, I feel like this idea isn't original enough.
Well, no, but nobody's done it though when it's actually soaked in.
Nobody's soaked the whole freaking guitar.
Yeah, I mean that's a whole other thing. That's another level.
All right.
You just took like that. It's like whiskey barrel top, but just a whiskey barrel like soaked.
Okay, so when it comes to aging guitars, as we all know,
our goal of conversations here, we started here, but we just kind of went like.
Yeah, but we always do this.
We create switchbacks.
We always, it's like time travel in most movies where they kind of somehow get back, but it doesn't make sense.
Right. It's true. Okay, sorry, I segued you again.
Well, we could totally get in a time travel conversation because I know you love that conversation.
I do love that conversation.
I know, me too, really too. Are we creating parallel universes?
Oh man. So I think actually the parallel universe thing has kind of gone away. Parallel universes, because now it's kind of more multiverse.
Oh, yeah.
So that parallel universe kind of scratched out because the multiverse just means there's every possible universe every possible situation that every possible could exist is happening at the same time that we are right now.
Yeah.
So that's kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, every possible timeline is happening at every possible given moment.
Okay, so back to aging guitars.
Thinking about that with that stuff, that's too much.
See, the thing is that since time isn't real, that is a 20-year-old aged bourbon.
Don't be messing with me, man.
So
yeah.
So
torrefied and roasting.
Yeah, torrefied and roasting seems to be the two biggest. The three things: torrefying, roasting, and then frequency-based resonating. Right, seem to be the three biggest things that people do. For you guys at home, all of those, are kind of not doable except for the sound.
Yeah, the residency one, because you can buy. There's something I think you can buy. I guess
you can lean it against your guitar amp
and
go on vacation and just let it sit there and feedback.
Yeah.
And technically, that is doing the job. There is these feedbackers that you can put on the strings that make it all resonate. Technically, you could set it in a loud room next to a speaker. You could even just set it on top of the speaker so that it's vibrating and doing stuff. All those things are possible, and you can won't damage your guitar, and it's free and easy.
True.
So feel free to try it.
Yeah.
The other things that we've mentioned, if you want to age your guitar, try better pickups that sound more aged in antiquity.
Well, yeah, go stylistically wise. Yeah.
B, do what you did to my guitar last week, was maybe put some
it's true.
wiring on it.
Actually, the funny thing, even though they're new pots and like if you put good wiring and new pots in, it will actually get you closer to a lot more of how the American-made guitar sounded in the day. I mean, obviously, then if you had a really nice piece of old wood or aged wood, you could essentially build an old guitar new, because one of the things that like Gibson and Fender and stuff were doing back in the day is the wood sources that they're pulling from were actually old already, and it's not like that was like a big deal. It wasn't even a thing at the time. It was just wood. It was old wood. It's the same thing that was getting eaten that cabinet makers were using. It's wood, but it was just like there was the surplus, because there's things that eat up more wood than guitars do, but guitars eat up a lot of wood. They just do. I mean, there's things that eat up a lot more wood than guitars.
Guitars go through a tiny amount of wood comparatively to the rest of the world.
But if you think about at the time though, the wood was majority of wood besides building construction wood would be cabinet making, furniture making.
Because there was no IKEA, everything was actually real wood.
That's what I'm saying. It was all real wood. Like there wasn't a lot, so it took a little minute. But once the guitar stuff increased, all that old wood got eaten up really fast.
Oh yeah.
It got eaten up. Like the old wood did, not the new growth, but old wood did. Because you'll notice, like Matt Fender's a perfect example of this. And so actually, no, they both are. You look at 50s and 60s Fenders and Gibsons, right? And then you get into the 70s. What happens in Gibson? What's one of the things that everybody checks out on 70s Gibson Les Pauls? Sandwich body.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because they were having trouble getting. Well, they were looking for consistency and
exactly
like every manufacturer, they were trying to turn down how do I make it cheaper?
And have you felt an Ash Strat from the 70s?
Oh,
they're like 14 pounds if you get into that 70, 60, 78 range.
Like ridiculous.
Oh, it's I don't even. That's a whole other prices.
Prices for
don't charge because it's old. Charge because it's good. Because I know it's old, doesn't mean it's good. I have a lot of quarters I can stick down the slot side of my 70s Fender Strats and stuff. What you looking at?
I was looking at the time.
Why? What's wrong with the time?
Nothing's wrong with the time. I just wanted to know what it was.
Is it broken?
No.
Did you break time?
Again?
Damn, I hate when that happens. Anyway, back that up. Point being, in theory though, with good drying of wood, especially if you get a really low percentage rate, or I don't know what that resonance thing, I'm not sure, or what the roasting would do. I'm curious about this because I don't know. I haven't heard roasted guitar bodies yet. I haven't heard anybody say that specifically.
Well, not specifically roasting them, but
torrefying. Yeah.
But even that's typically done for an acoustic guitar.
Right. It's not. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I haven't
don't
really
know
heard of people doing it with like a 2-inch.
Yeah.
Right?
So I'd be curious to know what it can do, because if you roast the neck, a neck's Strat neck's 1 inch thick essentially is what it is. 1 inch thick, pretty much all the way down.
Yeah.
And if they can do that, then what's 2 inches? It could be really. I really want. Oh, now I want to know what that's like. I want to understand that, because in theory you could really.
We do have an oven.
True, because in theory you could make a vintage guitar in that sense. In the sense of if the wood, like if you can get old wood, or if you can age a wood to really match what, like, I guess it would be like getting an old burst, measuring the humidity of the wood, and then matching that, and then making a guitar that way.
But the humidity would be what's current humidity that is picked up. It's not.
True. Oh yeah, you're right.
It's not what it's gone through throughout the years.
We don't know that. So
you don't know what its history is.
Yeah, that's
right?
the thing.
But
I guess if you had an old piece of wood that did go through history, that was like, part of a barn or something, or a house and a mantle or whatever, the Brian May effect, and it's aged, then in theory you could make a vintage guitar.
Yeah, so what I would wonder, and maybe we can do this, like if we were to take one piece of wood, cut it in two.
Right.
So it's essentially the same identical twin.
Yeah, it's the same piece of wood.
Right.
Yeah.
If we were to take one and measure its frequency response.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Right.
Do the whole.
And then the other do either just torrefy it, take it down in age, right? Or add frequencies to it for a week or two.
Right. Like really, we should try to do that. We're going to try to do that. See if we can pull the test, do the test somehow.
Yeah.
Go through all the vibration, the torrefied, and the roasting. We'll have to figure that out.
Right.
We could do.
Yeah, because it's really easy. Like even if we just connected one string to it.
Yeah.
Right, like to a fixed source.
Yeah.
Right.
Like what's his name in Might Get Loud when
exactly.
Slap a pickup and two bolts, wires, and put a string on it.
It's like even if I just play that one string, we can watch on a frequency chart. We can watch the harmonics that go away.
Gotcha.
Whatever goes away is what's resonating.
Right. That's what that's absorbing.
Right. So then when we switch the piece of wood, if it's like the same exact nail and everything, right? Then if we would see if the harmonics that go away are the same or different.
Yeah. Okay. We're gonna have to do that, folks. That's gonna have to be that might have to be one. That's gonna be.
We can do that.
Yeah, we're gonna do that. That's cool.
Right. I really like the idea of now making a bourbon telly.
Yeah, well, I'm down with that, dude. I'm all down with that.
I mean, maybe even if I had like some odor to it, like vintage style. Right.
Starts like a vintage.
Ode of vintage. Right. Which reminds me of a story. Right.
Really quick though. Oh no, go ahead. Tell your story.
Note to selves.
Okay. Note to selves.
Note to selves. If you ever want to buy a vintage double neck.
Vintage double neck, like Gibson SG style.
Yeah. Right. Or like an old Ibanez or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Like one of them that is actually lacquer. Don't.
Why?
Armpit. Right. Often they smell. Right? Like you're like, what is this?
All right. So now that you opened that can of worms, I want you to know I work on guitars all the time.
I know.
That's what I do for a living.
Right. Guitars
stink. Sometimes, man, I get cases sometimes that are just horrendous.
I know.
I mean, and then sometimes I get some that are like that's actually my favorite when I work on hippie type folk.
Yeah, they smell all weedy and stuff.
No. Sometimes I get some that smell amazing. They have amazing incense smell. Like some of them sound really nice. Like really
I've been around those. Yeah.
But man, there's some. And the absolute worst is I get. I don't see them too much from customers. But when I used to work on all the vintage stuff for GC, for Guitar Center, we would get guitar. We had a guitar once in that was so, like in my head, the only way to achieve this would be to put the guitar in a solid box and just blow nicotine smoke, cigarette smoke.
Oh, yeah.
It was so brown. It was like a sunburst, 70 sunburst, but it was so brown overall and just sticky everywhere. You'd leave a fingerprint in like the goop that's built up on it of all the tackiness for the thing.
And that wasn't the 70s lacquer.
No. This is it's because it was everywhere. It was on the metal.
Oh, dude.
Like it coated, like the chrome was brown.
Like it got
it coated.
Stuck in a bar somewhere.
This was probably a guitar that somebody played in a bar every night, and it stayed in that bar.
Oh, okay.
Or something, because it was just like an ashtray like this. Just the entire time.
Okay.
It was just like nicotine. Oh, God.
So we need to know from you guys.
So I can believe the
age your guitars.
armpit smell. I can believe the armpit.
Right.
Smell.
Oh, yeah. My brother had this a double neck Ibanez from like the 70s.
Yeah,
right.
Totally
and he had to sell it because eventually it just bugged him too much.
Nasty.
Right.
Oh, it's nasty.
This is like it just got it has a mung.
Mung?
What's a mung?
It's got a mung.
Right. I'm like, what is mung, Jack? Right? It's like
that word is wrong.
Right.
Mung.
I don't know what that is. Right. So we need to know your aging techniques. As we said, you can't age something that other than with sound. Basically, is the only, because I wouldn't take and try and dry out a guitar. Right, because it might fall apart if you.
No, don't do it to an existing guitar with finish on it, especially not if it's lacquer. Forget about it. You'll just melt that. It'll just ruin it.
Oh yeah.
And if it's an acoustic, don't do it, especially acoustics too, because
you'll have Kiln.
If it's Gibson or Guild or anything like that, it'll all the hide glues will just pop apart.
Yeah. It'd be worse than putting it in the back of the trunk of the car.
That would actually be worse than that. Yeah, it's terrible.
Right.
Because on that note, too, you know, when you're talking about things you can do at home, too, if you really want to get fancy dancy, other than tonal aging, if you want visual aging. And
that's a whole other thing.
Yeah, that's could be another thing, but lacquer, on lacquer-based guitars, is just UV lights.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's UV lights. You know, got a sun lamp or hang it outside in a window. You know, make that sucker. And poly
will do it over time.
Man, yeah, I have my 80. What year is that Strat? That red Strat? It's an 88, I think.
Yeah, but look,
something like that. The red Strat. You remember the ones? Yeah, the one like Lockwood had. Actually, I have Lockwood's old Strat. Michael's old Strat. It's funny.
Oh, the one with the fourth pickup.
Yeah. I have that.
Oh, that's a great conversation for another time.
Yeah, well, yeah. Think about that. We'll have to do that. Yeah, we'll have to do that.
Ways of getting humbucking without humbucking.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But that guitar actually has a hingy little yellowish tint to it, and it's poly.
Well, so before I got rid of it, my white ESP that I got in at Waldo's.
Oh yeah, that had
it had yellow too,
yeah,
even though it was poly.
It had a little yellow. It wasn't the same yellow as lacquer. It wasn't the greeny yellow, but it was yellow. It aged. It actually got old looking.
Yeah.
It really got old looking.
Well, and I've also seen a recent thing with some guitars, some cheaper guitars, where they try and get a quick VOS kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
Right, where they basically take like a poly guitar, but they light spray it with a lacquer.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Right,
that's perfect because the outside will
then
age.
Immediately it'll look
old. Yeah.
It has that lacquer, like you know how lacquer doesn't feel as smooth and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, poly doesn't feel as smooth. Yeah. So it starts to feel tacky like lacquer.
I got
quickly
you.
Look like lacquer. Yeah, I've seen a couple guitars like that were almost acceptable. Right, there was
It's a good way to get vibe if shoot clear lacquer over top of something. It'll yellow.
It'll yellow.
It will yellow. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, I think if I were ever going to do it intentionally, I think I would just do like a Les Paul top, right? Because where it seemed to show itself was on the binding around the edges.
Yeah,
right.
It'll show itself.
Right,
Well, that's where you'll see it.
Yeah. And so just kind of like go.
Or if you had a Epiphone gold top, and you sprayed the lacquer on it, then in turn you hope it gets a little green.
Yeah.
Because that's what's awesome. Old 50s gold tops, they get green because that's green, because it's gold, and when you get the yellow gold.
Didn't we spray that guitar with?
We checked it.
We checked it. Did we do it on this episode?
No, we didn't do it on. We should do it on camera.
Oh, we should totally do that.
Yeah. If you guys, okay, now look, we say things sometimes that you can do, and I'm not going to recommend this to you because if you have any kind of warranty, it's going to void it. So just telling you that right now. And don't get mad.
We are very much in the.
Don't get mad at me.
Do as we say, don't do as we do.
Yeah, exactly. Don't do as we do. But, well, you can. Okay, get compressed air. It's fun. It's so much fun. On a lacquer guitar, you get compressed air. Turn the can upside down. I guess you should try to shake it up. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But turn it upside down and spray it, and you will free on it. It'll just basically get...
it's super cold.
Super cold, and then you can just listen. And as it warms up, you'll hear a guitar check. And depending how new the guitar is and how thick the finish is, you might have to do it a few times to get it to kind of really come through.
And for me, I'm being cautious on this one, right? I tend to want to do it to get it more to come out, but I know that as it fills with dirt and stuff over time, it'll become more obvious.
Yeah. If you like the pattern, because you can see the patterns in the light, you won't see it right away, but you'll see the pattern in the light.
They start to show up a little, like a couple days later, a little bit more, and you can feel them lightly as they're starting to pucker and stuff like that.
I have a 2011 gold top, and I did it a long time ago, and it looks like a 50s gold top.
Yeah,
because it's got all the sweat and dirt from shows I played in it.
It's like
it looks really good.
It's like it doesn't age it today; it just sets it up so that it's going to age very fast.
Yeah. Well, you'll get that checking faster. The only thing it doesn't do is that one thing about and I noticed this about. I think from the 70s on out, I haven't seen newer ones age. They haven't been around long enough. But 50s Les Pauls, when they check, when the finish and stuff cracks and checks, it checks this way.
No, it checks along the grain.
Well, no. Well, yeah, along the flame. Some of them have flame underneath the gold top.
Yeah.
But all the vintage guitars, even Strats, they check this way. But when you get into the 70s, they check this way.
What the hell is that?
I think it's because the plasticizer, the finish changes.
Oh.
It's still lacquer, but they change the balance of stuff. And I think because even now when you check these ones with the thing, they kind of spider web.
Yeah.
And I've seen that. I've seen that through the '60s too. I've seen the spiderweb through the '60s. It's kind of cool. It looks really good because you get kind of chaotic. You get some that go this way, you get some that go that way, and you get like spiderwebs.
Yeah, I kind of would like to get some long ones in there.
Yeah, that's the problem. Is because
we know. What's his face for Gibson?
Tom Murphy. But
Tom Murphy.
You do it with the razor blade,
and physically cut them.
But he charges. I mean, that's why like you want a Tom Murphy aged Les Paul. It's $15,000
because he spends.
Well, no, I know. I mean, he spends hours.
He's an artist sitting there carving with
a razor blade going like this, or a scalpel or whatever, just carving these lines, and then getting that little spot where you make that one that goes like that. Because they always do that where they tear off each other.
Yeah, the tear off.
Yeah, they always do that roll off. Yeah.
Long line.
See, that's what you don't get when you do it the way we do it, or you don't get from 70s and current ones. 50s ones do that, right. Yeah. And Strats do that too. Strats will do that too. So I think it has to do with its actual finish and the makeup of the finish.
Yes. So what we need to do is check it and then soak it in bourbon, right? So that the bourbon gets in the cracks.
Just take everything you own and soak it in bourbon.
Right. Well, that's all.
We could put a rabbit and rug it in.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we're just silly. This was a silly episode, but we really just wanted to talk.
Well,
like talking about beer.
The basic concept of the whole show is that we just get together and talk, and we happen to invite other friends that are you. So,
I wish we guys could have some of this.
Me too.
I wish we could maybe
we'll sell it someday.
That'd be cool.
Well,
the future would be like the smell-o-vision, like that idea of smell-o-vision. We have taste of it. Like you can pour it into something, and then on the other end, they can.
Head back.
Yeah, exactly. Does everybody take their phone? I will pour it through.
That only reminds me of a night in Tijuana, but that's a whole other.
That's for another show, people.
That's a
after hours.
Right. But we would love to hear what you guys have done to try and age guitars.
Yeah. If you guys have any ideas and stuff.
Also, as we said, obviously putting sound on it is the easiest thing to do it, and
anybody can do that.
Right. Anybody can do that. Right.
Yeah, that was also least invasive, or just something to do. Won't hurt anything. So.
If you live in a moist place,
that word.
Yes, if you live in a high humidity place.
There you go. I hate that one word. Oh, moist.
Right. Remember when David Letterman did that contest to try and figure out what their word for the year would be?
It was moist.
And it was, it's moist.
But it's moist. But it's moist. That's what's the
phrase. And then he was so disturbed by it that he could never use it for the whole year. Right. So anyways, in general, I find, and I think we'd all agree, that high humidity areas, like when I lived in the Midwest, right? My guitars generally did not sound as good as they do in Los Angeles, right? Because the humidity is different here.
Gotcha. Did you notice that?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, right? I've never lived in a place like it was.
Acoustics are just damp and soggy, and they kind of flub.
Yeah.
Right. So obviously, one of the things you can do is of course put a dehumidifier inside your amplifier, inside your case, right? And then I also believe. This is a belief which I haven't factually checked, but I believe I'm right and would probably bet money on it, is that part of the reason that tube amps sound, I've always found that they don't sound as good on moist days as they do on dry days.
Okay.
Right?
Think it affects the caps and stuff, or?
No, I think it's the speaker cone itself.
Oh.
Tube amps and like some of the newer digital amps, like a Boss Katana, for example, right? It's they actually respond to tube amps, and those guys respond to the impedance of the speaker.
Oh,
right.
Oh, so the moisture changes the impedance of the speaker.
The moisture puts extra weight on the cone, and I think that's what we're hearing is that it's changing that.
Well, it could also just change the capacitance of everything too. It's moisture.
Of course, right? They could have
because it is a coil. Yeah, it could because the coil if it's in the air.
Right, I mean, but I'm pretty sure that I've noticed it that way when I used to measure amps constantly as part of my gig. Right, so and I was like, this doesn't sound.
I never
as good
thought about that. That makes perfect sense.
Well, it's the easiest thing to make sense.
Well, right, yeah.
Right, it's did my tube get moisture inside? Yeah,
what is it? Is it Occam's razor? All things being equal, all things being equal, the simplest.
That's why I would bet money on it. Right.
That's
That's not a lot of money, and it depends if I borrowed it from him or if it was. But
that's my money.
But if it's his money, I'm going all in. Right?
All in, people.
Jason, we're going all in, right? I get 50, right? But yeah, so you can definitely try and lower humidity. But because I believe that it is doing it in your cabinet as well, you might want to consider putting a dehumidifier
in the cabinet,
back of your cab.
That's not a bad idea.
Keep your speaker from getting too moist as well. Right? A rainy day in Ohio, your acoustics sound like thud, and your
That's a trip. I never
and
thought
your
about
electric
that.
amps sound like thud, and you're like, why? It's because they're
Yeah.
full of water, right? They feel all soppy and stuff, which always amazes me that we get decent records from Nashville.
Maybe the studios are just really dry. I don't know.
Yeah, but the amp and guitar had to go.
You're right. I don't know.
Right?
I don't know what to say to that.
Just to say I'm right.
I should ask my friend. I have a friend who lives there. I should ask him. I have a couple of friends. Actually, matter of fact, Dave Cobb lives there. An engineer. I should ask Dave. Does your studio sound different than when it did here? I wonder if the studio even sounds different. Like, I wonder if everything is like a complete different adaptation to things. I don't know. I'm curious.
Okay, so we've talked.
We've talked
for
and
a
drank.
lot. Well, we still have a lot left.
Oh, I know. We're
Right.
gonna drink it.
Right. What's funny is when I say a lot left, this is just the jar we brought upstairs. There is literally a 4 or 5 gallon jug downstairs full. So
we'll be blind the next time we do a show.
I got rid of the bad stuff. I know what I'm doing.
No, I was talking about how much we're drinking is what I was.
Oh, I know, yeah. Right. Yeah, when you hear people refer to going blind from the moonshine, there is a period when you're, all right, health when you're distilling something.
Right.
It's methane and ethanol, right? One of them is
You're just throwing those in later, aren't you?
Right. But the first 5% of what comes out of your still is poisonous and can make you go blind.
Oh,
Is the
hey, perfect for COVID though.
for COVID?
Yeah, you wash your hands in it. It's
Oh, yeah.
rubbing alcohol. You know.
Oh, dude, I've washed my dude. If I wouldn't be worried that I might accidentally drink it, I would keep it in bottles just for house cleaning.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, what's it?
But when it's coming out, I'll clean the counters and everything in the house.
Oh, that's
Right.
awesome.
But yes, I've thrown that all away. Don't worry. Yeah, right. I'm not gonna hurt you. Right. I'm actually a little overly.
Oh, scared of that.
Yeah.
Sort
Yeah.
of thing, yeah.
Well,
Yeah, 'cause
and the thing
that's
is,
bad for you. I mean, I can't even imagine what it do to
well,
your liver.
and it's one of those. It's probably not even true that you go blind, but there's enough warnings of it online that I'm like, I'm gonna be super safe with this.
So remember, kids, when you're torrefying your thing, make sure your whiskey is. No, I'm just sorry.
When you're drying your wood.
Good show. All right. So,
Right.
anyways, but there you
as
go.
always,
Yes.
please subscribe.
Yes.
I
Like.
think that's where the button.
Is
Like.
that there? No, we don't have a button on our thing. I don't
Do you-
think. Did I put a button on our thing?
Well, if you did, it'd be right here.
Right there.
Right.
There. There.
There.
There. There.
Right.
Okay. We don't have one now.
If you did,
it's down below.
It's down over here. Right. So subscribe,
like, comment. Make
nice
fun of us.
stuff.
Yeah.
Well, they
make fun of
they
us.
don't have to. Well,
No, don't be mean.
I mean, be nice.
Yeah.
Right. We can be mean back.
Especially if I drink more of that.
And I've never seen you be mean before.
No, I know I can't.
Even when you're drunk.
I'm not mean when I'm drunk. I'm kind of happy drunk.
Right? Even when you're fine. Right. So, anyways, and eventually we'll have our own whiskey line that you guys can buy. So
Sure.
we'll deal with that later.
It'll be called Pine Telly.
Right. Yeah. So to get around the legalities of it, you're only buying a Telecaster. It just comes with a bunch of.
Oh, we sell. That's like old school fucking what do you call it? Like prohibition type shit.
Yeah.
You buy this, but for free you get this.
So we'll ship the guitar
Right.
in a sealed thing that holds liquid.
Oh, there you go.
Right. And so then it's your job to
extract the guitar, and now you can drink the liquid.
Exactly. It's only a guitar aging process, not alcohol.
Not right. You heard it here first, folks. Order from a suit.
But as always, we're glad you guys are listening. Glad you guys are watching.
Yeah.
We'd love to hear from you.
Sure, please.
And as always, any comments about what to do in the future? Well,
yeah, that's what you got. Ideas, something you want to know about. I mean, because as is, we can't think of ideas, and then we came up with a couple ideas as we're doing this show.
yeah, we always go, what are we going to talk about? And
Yeah.
then we turn the camera on, and we're like, and then like 5 ideas will pop to us, and so.
Because this ain't scripted, man.
What?
This ain't scripted.
Oh.
Is it? You been scripted this?
Everything I said tonight was written down,
You
prepared.
did? Oh. Wow, that was pretty impressive. It felt real natural.
Well, yeah. Right. Oh, dude, acting, genius.
Acting! Oh, good times.
All right. So everybody,
So, yeah, he's Jeff.
he's Jason.
And, yeah,
I had to think about that for a second.
Think about that for a
Wait,
second.
and it wasn't that I forgot your name. It's just that you said he's Jeff, and I'm like, what am I supposed to do? He's Jason.
And we'll see you again real soon, hopefully. Bye.
Bye.